I'm Fran Heathcote, General Secretary at PCS, and I've got a really important message this afternoon for members in the DWP. We are now into the last few days of posting your ballot paper in order to make sure we get it in before the closing date. We are bound by the anti-trade union laws, which means that the ballot must be postal, it must be posted, and the envelope is marked Civica. So if you're looking out for a ballot paper, it'll be in an envelope marked Civica. We are still bound by those laws. The 50% threshold law, ironically, is changing in advance of next month, but that does not affect this ballot. For this ballot, we have to beat the 50% threshold and we have to get the ballot papers in by post. So it's really, really important that everybody does that. So why are we asking you to vote? Why is it so important? And would it really matter if you didn't bother? The reason being, we want to improve pay for everybody in the civil service, but civil service pay at the moment is operated under a system called delegation. And that means that every employer, in principle at least, is responsible for their own pay bargaining. Now, DWP is one of the biggest departments, but it's also one of the lowest paying departments. And when the employer had a choice about how to spend what they had available, they chose to divert money away from the lowest paid. And our argument is this is why delegation needs to change. This is why it's an unfair system. But this is why it's really, really important that we put pressure on DWP to tell them that DWP members deserve so much better. The fact that Peter Schofield then tried to justify what had happened by saying that staff could buy vouchers, well, I'm really sorry, but those vouchers don't pay the bills at the end of the month. Those vouchers don't ensure you have to make choices between, you prevent you from making choices between heating and eating. What ensures that is giving people a decent cost of living pay increase. And as I say, our members deserve so much better. We know the important work that you do, and so does the DWP. So you deserve just as much as any other part of the civil service to be rewarded properly. That's why this matters. It matters because DWP members matter. So we urge you not to delay. Get it posted today. Every ballot paper will count. If we can beat the 50% threshold, in other words, if more than 50% of the people who are balloted return a ballot paper, that sends an absolutely clear message, not just to the DWP themselves, but to the government and to the Treasury, that DWP pay is important, and it's just as important as every other part of the civil service. So then when I go into those national talks about civil service-wide pay bargaining, DWP is an absolutely crucial part of that. So please take part. Please make sure you return your ballot paper. I'm sorry if you've heard this before, and I'm sorry if you've already returned yours. But for anybody that hasn't, we are now in the last few days. If I were you and I wanted to guarantee getting my ballot paper to count, I would put a first-class stamp on the envelope at this stage. A second-class stamp risks it not getting in by the deadline. A first-class stamp pretty much guarantees that it will if it's posted the next day or so. So thank you so much for listening. Please return that ballot paper, and hopefully we can all agree that DWP members deserve a decent pay rise. Thank you.